Well, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to yet another webinar that we've been doing. I think this is our third one. Actually, it's technically our fourth because we've done the Devolution Central in last fall. But if you're new here, we want to welcome you to our very special webinars that we do just for you, hosted by Devolutions and with the Devolutions team here. So today I'm joined with France, which is here with me. How are you doing, France?
Hi, everybody.
Great. France is our user experience coordinator. Now, she'll give a little bit about herself in a second here, because I don't want to forget about Maxime Morin, who's up in the offices as well. So how's it going, Max?
Hi, fine, thanks. And you?
Great. We're doing great. I'm so glad that you're here. Now, Maxime Morin is our team lead for the Password Hub project, but he's done a lot of stuff here. So I think it'll be exciting to see a little bit about where the product came from. And we really want to get to know you folks today. So make sure you put stuff in the chat. And if you have any questions for us, we are here to answer them. But today I just wanted to give you a little bit about a rundown of what we're going to be doing and what's going to happen in the next hour or so with France and Max. So our goal today is not to necessarily tell you about password management per se, because let's say we all use password managers, right? Whether it is most of us, right? At least.
Right.
So whether it's you might use a solution like Devolutions Password Hub, or maybe you're using a Dashlane or 1Password, a KeyPass, an Excel spreadsheet. I know Jenny made a poll a little bit earlier. You can see that in the event to ask you what password manager you're using, or you might be old school and still use the Post-it notes, right? So Max, yeah, exactly. So, but we're not really want to talk about necessarily about password management, because you all as IT professionals know the importance of managing your passwords. What we wanted to cover today is our unique solution. And I think we're going to present to you our solution Password Hub today. That is something that you may have never seen before. Now, you may be using it already, and kind of that's why you're here, because you said, hey, I want to know a little bit more about the tools provided for it. But I think you'll be really surprised. It's a password manager like none other for IT pros, as well as your what we call business users, right? Your marketing, your HR, your finance teams.
Exactly, for the entire organization, actually.
Entire organization.
Business. Yeah.
Yep. And it's a cloud-based system. So that's one of the advantages of that. So it's accessible everywhere. And we'll dive into the product a little bit in a minute here. But just so you know what's going to happen today, so I'm going to be here with France, and Maxime is over there as well. He's going to be sharing his screen at one point. France will be demoing the product here as well. If you have any specific technical questions or anything like that, there's really two ways you can handle that. If there's a question concerning another product or another solution that we offer, we do have some technical support sessions going on right now, and they are live in the sessions tab, okay, on the left-hand side. But also, if you want some questions specifically about Hub, what we're going to do is, if you can write them down or stick them on your notepad or on your sticky note, and then at the end of this, France and Maxime are going to go into a Hub session in the Sessions tab, and then they can answer just not a free-for-all, but any questions you have whatsoever. They'll go ahead and demo and show things. So that'll be available for you. But during this session, we really want to take time to show the product, show how it works, give you a little bit of the mindset, and talk about the roadmap. So a little bit of the past, a little bit of the present, a little bit of the future of the product. So we've got that. And then as well, if you have any questions and you have any issues, on the right-hand side, Jenny is there to answer specific questions, as well as Mark is our technical support guru. He's going to be there to answer in the chat on the right-hand side. Yeah. So if you click on the right, you'll see the little chat. Also, just a couple more housekeeping things. It is an online webinar, okay? And we're doing our best with our gigabit Ethernet to push it up as highest quality as possible to you. But if you have a problem where all of a sudden it looks like I say, like one of those Chinese kung fu movies where the voice doesn't match the action, you know, that just happens, right? Just refresh your browser in the stage, and then it should sync right back up, because we've had issues where it doesn't synchronize. So there you go. And then as well, a little bit after this session, so we'll say around 11 o'clock, we'll have the networking tab on the left. You're like, what is that? Well, the networking tab is I don't have a better way to explain it, but it's kind of like a speed dating thing. Okay. So speed dating with IT people. Okay. But what you do is you have 180, you have 3 minutes basically, and you log in and you share your camera, and then it randomly picks another person that's in there to share their camera with, and you just talk about IT stuff or life or whatever for a few minutes. But it sounds kind of a little strange, but it's actually quite fun. I've done it several times, and you get to meet people from all over the world. We have people from Europe right now. We've got people in Asia. We've got people that are not sleeping. It's the middle of the night for them. So we have that available for you in the network tab. And as well on the bottom, you'll see the Expo tab, which I explained in the little video. If you saw it at the beginning, there you can see a little bit about all of our products, as well as later on at the end, right before we sign off, we have this nice sysadministrator, a comic book, which I actually took it home and read it. I don't think I was supposed to, because this is like the hard copy. But anyway, so there might be a few coffee stains on this one, but we'll send you a nice fresh copy of this comic book. It's really, really nice. Our artist in resident, Patrick Desilets, amazing artist. You may be familiar with the sysadministrator comics, but you'll definitely want to, you can sign up for that, and you'll have a chance. We'll pick 3 winners to get a copy of this, and then Jenny will ship it all over the world. Okay. And I'll get your emails, and at the end we'll randomly pick somebody. Okay. So that's it for the housekeeping. I didn't want to take too much time of me blabbing off, but let's just start off with Maxime. Tell us a little bit about your role, okay, with Password Hub. We'll talk about the history in a second, but tell us about a role. What do you do with your team? How big is your team? How do you work with your other as a project manager?
Thank you, Yann. As you just said, I'm a team leader for Hub. We are actually 3 developers, 1 QA full-time, and we also have France, which is helping us. We have other sub-teams that are working with us, such as the mobile app team. We also work with RDM. We integrate with pretty much like a big part of the company. So that's pretty much what we do. And I'm like the orchestra. I'm just making sure everything goes together. I help development and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Now, he mentioned France, who's our UX coordinator. It's kind of a little bit new title, right? Well, recent. So tell us a little bit about what your role here is at Devolutions, and a little bit about how also you've been working with Hub.
Well, like you say, a coordinator, coordinates a lot of different things, but especially for all our Devolution application, web application, which has a web interface, making sure that it's user-friendly, and also coordinating all the different projects or different teams, actually. So Password Hub is a perfect big example where there's a lot of team implicated in this solution. I do also help Devolution servers, since it's also a web application. And I do a little bit like Max there, trying to follow up with everybody, putting everybody on track, working a lot with QA also, and listening also a lot to our customer in the forum. I help a lot of support also. So I'm there to really have the feeling of what our community wants. Because that's the idea of Devolution, right? Since the beginning, is really to listen to what our customer wants, and that did make a lot of success actually with our main product, which is Remote Desktop Manager.
Yep.
So it's a good recipe. So let's follow for all the other products. So we do listen a lot, and we do recommend to go and see what's going on in our forum, because a lot of people also, and I recommend to share their experience and share their tips and tricks. Actually, that's a good way to share around the world, because, like you say, there's a lot of people here. It's some people are just staying up just for us.
Yep. Thank you so much for you night owls, but we'll keep it short and sweet today. But I think it's jam packed with some really good information, and I know what you guys are thinking. Show us the software. So we're going to get there in just a second. But just really quick, I'm looking at the chat right now. So I just want to give a quick shout out to the people that are joining us. We've got Germano, Hermano, De Cuna, Diego Safier. Thank you for joining us again. He's been there waiting. He's been here for an hour now. So thanks for joining us. We got Sergio, as well as Sam, and Scott Bowling and Michael Illigan. Thank you guys, folks, for joining us. I know there's a lot more in the chat as well, but you're already posting your questions and your poll results. So thank you. Just go ahead and post your questions there or your comments as well if there's something that you need help with. And Jenny is in the chat. You'll see there. She's answering questions for you. So let's talk about a little bit about the history of the Password Hub, because actually I went over this with Max yesterday, and I learned some things that I didn't know about. And the reason why is he's not going to take a long time, but I want you to know why we developed this, because let's be honest, you think, why another password manager, right? Because we as team members, we used to use different various password managers, and with Remote Desktop Manager, we integrate with pretty much all of them, and they integrate very, very well. And that's one of the key reasons why RDM is a Swiss Army knife. Remote Desktop Manager, our flagship software, is a Swiss Army knife for IT pros. But then we discovered something, and that's what Max is going to talk about, that there was a need in the market from our customers, and also something we said, wait, there's a need for us as well. So Maxime, do you want to go ahead and give us a little bit about the little history lesson of Devolutions Password Hub solutions? All right, so let us know.
Yeah, so a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away,
Perfect.
There was a product named Asset internally. This product was meant to manage pretty much anything in your company. The goal was to allow you to create some sort of template or some type of entries where you can add, so you can manage printers, computers, and other things like that in your business. This was meant to be actually a plugin for Devolution server. And as we progress with that plugin, we realized that at Devolution, we're good at storing sessions, we're good at connecting to sessions, storing password, credentials, but not really the rest at the asset stuff. So we kind of moved away from that, and we wanted to fill a void, which was the password management void in the Devolution product offering. So we created what we call internally Hub V2, which was known to you guys as Devolution Password Hub. It's the previous version of Password Hub. And this version was completely, I will call it, off the grid, meaning that it will not connect to RDM. It wouldn't be linked to any other product. It was a standalone product. It was meant to be just a password manager. After a couple of discussion with clients and internally, we realized that we don't really want to compete with 1Password, LastPass, and all those password managers. We wanted to fill the void with Devolution in our product offering. And that's why we moved to what we call internally Hub V3, which is actually the current release of Password Hub Business. And this one is integrating into the Devolution ecosystem. We are a data source in RDM. We support mobile apps, and we're really linked to all the teams, or almost. And the goal is to offer a single place, a one-stop shop, where you can have your password management for your business employees, and you can have your RDM for you IT pros. So that's really the goal. I'm just going to share my screen, not long. I believe it's this and that. I have an image for you guys where I'm going to move this away. So as you can see, Devolutions, well, I'm going to start from the bottom of the graph. This is where Password Hub Personal stands. You're pretty much a lone wolf or a really small company, and you want to just save your passwords, so you can use Password Hub Personal. And then along the lines, you have RDM, which integrates everywhere almost. And then once your business grows, you may need to share password to business users or other people in your company. So this is where Hub stands, where as your business grows, we're going to support you with a simple to install solution. You don't have actually anything to install. You just create your entry. Friends will show that later on. And as keeps growing, you can move on to Devolution Server with a lot of more advanced features, such as server-side recording, PAM stuff, and everything. So this is really where Password Hub stands. It's in the middle between I'm a lone wolf and I'm a big enterprise. We're right there. Thank you, Yann.
No, that's awesome. It's great because I didn't even know about the Devolutions asset thing. that was an actual thing. But we're very frank with you folks at home too. There was not an issue, but internally, I work in the marketing department. I also work with other teams like France's team and other. I work a lot with the DVLS Devolution server team, and there was an issue where I said, well, where does a guy like me store my passwords internally, right? Because I was in marketing. So I had remote desktop manager, and I use that because I have an IT background. But a lot of the people in marketing they're very, very smart and they're really, really good. But for them, remote desktop manager is a little overkill for them. So then we said, well, do we use Devolutions server? That was good, but they don't need to manage privileged accounts and stuff. So this really helped internally for us as well. And obviously we practice what we call dog fooding, right?
Yeah,
where
exactly.
we use internally our own products. And if they don't work, we fix them. And it went through a lot of iterations like Max said. So I think definitely we've seen it evolve. And also thanks to you folks, because I know I see the chat going on and people saying where they're from and everything. But listen, the reason why we do what we do is because you folks give us really good feedback, sometimes brutally honest feedback, which is fine, on the forums, because we look at it, we say, oh man, we really messed that one up, and then we really work at fixing it. And France is on top of that. And what's great is, just to remind you too, like Max Morin and his team, they're on the forum. They answer questions and they're looking and they're reading and they're seeing what you are doing. So if you're not familiar with that, you got to make sure go to the Devolutions forum on our website, because I think you can really take advantage of tapping directly, talking to the developers.
And what's nice also, it's when other users and other customers, they answer. Also other, they answer. That's the basic role of the forum, right?
Sure.
It's really to everybody, the community talks to each other, and that's great. Really, when that happened, that makes
it's a lot of fun.
Makes all the sense. It's really good.
So keep answering those questions for us, but we're not going to pay you for that. No, but we might give you free licenses once in a while. I don't know, whatever. Okay, I don't quote me on that. Okay, so I don't know. The sales team's going to get upset with me, but. Anyway, so we're gonna have some demos here.
Let's do this. Yes.
Let's take a look at some demos. So we kind of split it up into two different aspects, right? So explain, France, kind of where we're coming from with it. There's two different use cases, if you want to call them. So go ahead and share with us what we're gonna do.
Well, actually, I'm going to present Password Hub web-based on the browser because it's the most convenient, easy to use. That was how it started, actually. And actually, even as an administrator, you need the web interface really to do settings and manage and all that stuff. So, and what's nice, like I said, Password Hub is a cloud-based solution, and it's accessible from different. One of the big plus, actually, it's accessible from different ways depending of what kind of user you are. So a end user, a IT pro, on the road because you have a mobile, internal and department. So I'm going to show you right now.
Okay.
If you want to share my screen.
So I'm going to share your screen, and then Max is going to hide his camera just so that we can go full screen, because we want to make sure you guys get the best experience. So, all right. So I'm going to share the screen right now.
So I have a demo showcase, actually, which we build when we do some demos. So one thing you have to know is that when you create your Password Hub at Devolution, well, like any other products, you need to create an account. And that's a Devolution account. And so that's actually the account that will, it's your front door to open your vaults and your password manager. So here I have Bob, who is my administrator of my showcase. Yeah. So
we like Bob. Bob's cool.
Bob, yeah. He's the administrator, and he's the high-tech IT manager there of this Devolution, not Devolution, but Windjammer showcase. So here's the web interface where it's very, for those who know Devolution server, which is also, like Max told you, it's also kind of a password manager, but is an on-premise solution. Here we're talking about Password Hub Business, which is a cloud solution. So the layout is a Devolution layout where we have vaults. We have a vault selector, because what's nice also, you could create different vaults for different department, different client. If ever you're working with, you're supporting different customers. So you could create different vault. You see in my showcase here, I have the internal IT vault. I have also internal department vault for corporate or marketing and accounting. So they contain all kinds of entries, but we call them entries, or all kinds of information that is shared within that team that you gave access to that vault. So there's different kinds of information. It's not only credential, it's not only user password. Actually, you can store and share within a vault a lot of different information, like documents, obviously website. You structure with folders now. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Different kind of credential where you want to store them. Sensitive information like alarm code, bank account, credit card, anything that you want to just keep in one place safe. And also that could be shared with some team member. And we do support in the web interface specific sessions, the remote session, which you're going to see later on, because Password Hub, the same data sourcer, could be accessible with our tool Remote Desktop Manager, but also you could edit and add them directly in the web interface, directly in the web from here. So those are the different kinds of entry, the content that of your vault. So from here, it's a different for the different type of entries, you have an overview. So anybody that has a view access could just see at one glance, what it contains. Like here, I'm focused on just a simple credential, username, password. Depending also on the permission, you will have access to either copy or view the password, because they are specific encrypt information. And also, if it's just contact or bank information, there's a minimum information that is showed in the overview, and we do have the ability to edit. So when we support the entry, you can edit and put all these settings, which keeps it all safe in one place. So just to give you a view there, an overview.
Sure.
And when, like all our other products, every user that is logged in has their own user vault. So this is a user business vault, which most of the time we do have our business email, which is our login for a lot of different aspects in our business. And I'm specifying user business accounts because people could put their personal stuff there, but the Password Hub business belongs to your company that you work for. So it's more business related. If you really want something personal, well, if for those that maybe don't know, we do have a Password Hub Personal, which is a free cloud-based Password Hub. It's quite similar to this, and it's just personal. So it's your own, and I recommend, it's very easy to create. I recommend that you create your Devolution account on your personal email, and you create your personal Password Hub.
Yeah,
so
and it's free.
It is free. So
yes.
And actually, I did a demo once to a company which they really wanted to see both demo, because they encourage their staff to use Password Manager for all the benefit that it is. Have a complex password where you store it, and also encourage them that personally that they do practice the same kind of security on their passwords, just so you don't have the same password on every account that you have, and also to benefit of the complexity of password, because with a Password Manager, you don't need to know them by heart, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things we were discussing too, and I'm just interjecting really quick, but is the fact that one of the pain points on our users and us as well is visibility, right? If you're an IT admin, there's nothing more, and you live this every day. It's frustrating when you have this ultra secure, super Fort Knox vault with everything, 2FA, everything, and then one of your secretaries or a marketing guy is using, an Excel spreadsheet, or not even, he's just copying and pasting passwords from everywhere, and you can't control that. So having people use Password Hub Personal for their families and their personal things, and Password Hub Business at work, to me, it's a no-brainer. I've been using it at home too, even with my own family, and I think it's been really good to get that visibility across. So we get in the habit of using this, and it's very simple to use. So, all right, keep going with your showcase. I love this.
Oh, cool. So, in the fact of storing different information, I think that's pretty straightforward, and that's okay. And as an admin, because I'm still logged in as Bob here, where is our IT manager, and this is where in the administration menu you have all the different aspect of managing user, because I'll show you there later on that you invite user to your password hub. You could create user groups. We do even have an application user, which Max is going to tell you about, because we have a tool, a PowerShell tool also, that could interact with your password hub. You have the vaults, and the vaults, as when you create your password hub, at the first time you have one vault, but after that we really recommend to create different vaults to correspond to either different customer or different teams in the organization. I'm pretty sure that pretty much the IT pro will be the ones that will start to use a password manager within their team. But after that, once they're comfortable, it's nice to spread it out to the entire organization.
Yeah.
For like what you said, even here at Devolution, we did implement Password Hub for our marketing, sales, finance, HR. It's more friendly user to use the web application, but you could have one Password Hub for the IT and for the more business and user. So you could create some a vault, and when you create vault, actually that's the way that we have give access to permission. This is where you give access to a predefined role, that we keep it simple. We did predefine some roles with specific rights. Actually just a reader that just sees the content, operator that could open session, contributor that actually could add, delete. Actually in here you could see the different permission that a specific role could is assigned. And if ever there's a manager, which also we recommend in your getting started there, is that if you create a vault, assign directly a team leader or a manager that will take care of that vault and will add whatever they need for their team or for that customer, responsible customer. But if those predefined role does not satisfy your need, we have a custom role that you can create also, in which you decide what kind of rights that you could assign there. So quite straightforward. You go see in the roadmap for next year that there's going to be a lot of new things coming in for the permission. But at the basic, when you start, it's quite easy just to assign, I think, create a vault, assign a manager to the vault, which they're going to organize the content of it also. So when you get in and you explore, I think everybody wants to touch it and explore themselves.
Yeah. It's
quite easy with the web interface there.
Very cool.
And there's different reports also that is available for the admin, but also for every user. That's an important thing to know, because every user has at least their own user vault. They will have access to the entry security analyzer, the password analyzer, the activity log, and the deleted entry of their own user vault.
Oh, cool.
So they have all the user vaults that isn't Password Hub have also different report tools to also check out their stuff their own. If they are responsible of a shared vault, they will have access to that. So you see, just to give you an example, and I'm sure Max is going to show you, it's the password analyzer, which it's a little bit innovative beside our other products, is that really we analyze every password that you have in a specific vault. And in that case, because Bob is administrator, he has access to all the vault. But if a manager for accounting, they could analyze their password in that vault. And it's kind of a second step in the implementation of a password manager. You know, you put your stuff that you work with, you do continue business as usual. But after that, you have some tools to increase security and get better also in the strength of the password there. So you have all those tools here to give you how many occurrence and if it's weak and good and all that stuff. So
Thanks.
So it's not only administrator that could that. Every user could analyze their own user vault. So, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to log out as Bob there, and I'm going to change user, and I'm going to pretend that I'm Ellen. Ellen is accounting manager.
Sure.
So Ellen will work probably with the web interface, that's for sure. And she's going to enter our Devolution account password. And that's the password that you have to remember, right? If you want to open your vault. And that is the key to uncrypt also everything, because it's all encrypted. And I'm sure Mac's going to explain all that if you have questions on that. So you see Ellen has the same interface, except she has a little bit less vault available for her. And she has her own user vault with her own information that they have there. So what's nice, and as a companion, because we have to talk about all the different ways to access the Password Hub. This is only the web interface, but what we have, for those who knows Devolution Web Login, that is our browser extension, which is compatible with the different ones. Different browser, and you could connect Devolution Web Login for different products, but you could connect obviously with Hub Business. So even here, like you said, we do exercise our own dog fooding thing. And in finance, actually, there's a lot of website that they use, and the Devolution Web Login is the tool. Really, this is where it makes life easier. I even know that one of our staff members don't even open the website. She just works like Hélène. She could be in somewhere else, and she just opened the Devolution Web Login, which is the extension browser, directly to her business, and she could really navigate into the vault, and she has everything there as if it was in the web browser. So all she could do is work with the Devolution Web Login. So that's a nice feature if you don't want to have a lot of tabs open in your browser there.
Sure.
So it's not only for website, but you could check out stuff for contacts. She could view with the Devolution Web Login information. We could even edit directly with the Devolution Web Login. So, and obviously I could go directly to a website, and it's going to do, if you configure the Devolution Web Login correctly, it will autofill the credential. That's where the tool comes just easy, just like that, to open different website.
Yeah.
And without knowing the password. That's and not to retain. So Devolution Web Login is one of the main companion that works very good for anybody that has a lot of website. It could be IT pros, but also with business users, obviously. So that's a nice thing. And Devolution Web Login also, if ever you go to a website which you don't go often, you could go and, or for the first time, actually, as a manager, if you have a lot of website, you could go and connect. I'm just going to pretend here to connect to this website. And if the Devolution Web Login recognize that this website does not exist in the vault, it's going to ask you, do you want to add this website to your user vault or to a shared vault that you have the permission to add, and also to a specific folder? And once it's there, it took all the information, save it, it's done. Nice. So that's another way to kind of fill in all the vault at the beginning.
Yeah. Because that's always the hard part, because we have ways to import and export, you know.
I'll show you
and she'll talk about that. But yeah, that's always a concern. People are like, do I have to manually create all my my passwords? But yeah.
For those that started with nothing, who don't have any password manager, that's a good way to do it. But obviously, you could add. You see, in this, you see Ellen that doesn't have the ability to add in this vault here, so I have it's grayed out.
Okay.
But in accounting, she has that ability. So for sure, you could add information, and put structure all your vault depending on what you want to keep there. As you can see, it's not only username, password that you could share, you could keep safe and share with others. It's a lot of different information. So that's an easy way to also kind of build all your vault. So that's one of the biggest with the web interface, with Devolution web login. That's very nice to have them all work together. And as you can see there, if you know this, I also have my hub personal that could be connected there. So if I could connect actually with my own. Let's pretend that Ellen personal is France.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could have side by side actually. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Let's put the right password there. Oh, and I have a 2-factor.
Ah, nice.
So
very cool.
yeah. So because Devolution account, you could set up a 2-factor, right?
On your account itself.
That's right.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and also even in Password Hub Business, you could force all your user that you invite to configure a 2-factor on their Devolution account. So that's a very nice option also to use there.
Yeah. Very cool.
So let me just here. I didn't have a push there. I'm using SMS here.
Yeah, we have all sorts of different ways you can do it too, which is nice. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now there's several questions in the chat right now, and some of them where Mark is answering them right now. The more technical things, like I said, at the end, we'll do some more in-depth questions if you have. But also there's a couple questions I know that Max I'll probably gear toward Max. So if you haven't had your question answered, don't worry. We'll get there in just a second. So we are going to, she's just,
yeah, my mouse.
Yeah, the mouse and the keypad. I set stuff up for her, and sometimes I things are not correctly.
Everything was okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now my personal is connected. So if I'm using the same web browser for my personal stuff or for my working stuff, I could have both work also at the same time. So you see here in my Hub Business, I have my account for my business. In my Hub Personal, I have my account for my personal stuff. So
that's awesome.
But different ways people work with different browser. When it's personal, they could work in the same browser. You see, that's the thing, is that everybody works sometimes differently. So that's a nice flexibility that we have. Also, like I said, it's just a web interface. We also have a desktop application. So if you don't want to work on your browser, we just have a desktop application, very light. It's the same interface. It's just that it's a part of your browser. We do have it for all platforms.
Yep.
And what important also to know that we have the mobile app for Hub, especially for Hub. So anybody that is on the road, you just have your Password Hub in there. You're in your car.
Yeah.
You have to support your team because you're in lunch or
exactly.
or
Sure.
whatever. You could help them out there. And also for your Hub Personal, that's very handy. It's the same mobile app for both Password Hub. So
very cool.
That's another way to access for the ones that are mobile, on the browser, on your working station. And also the biggest thing is that we also have it available for RDM.
Yeah.
So it is a data source for RDM for those IT pros. And so you have a RDM with all that technology on a cloud-based data source. That's the purpose of it.
Very
just
cool.
Before going to RDM, I just wanted to talk about the launcher, because we're talking about sessions and stuff like that. So we do have a Devolution launcher, which is just for window based, but I just want to specify it because it does open a few session, just basic session into your browser. Not in the browser, actually, it's a little client which you can just open that session, RDP, Telnet, VNC.
Oh yes.
So
yes.
very easy. So it is still available. It's for Windows. It could be just for user that don't need a full RDM client application, just very small, just to open session. So it is also there.
Very cool. Very cool.
But the basic thing is RDM. RDM has everything in there with all those interface.
Yep.
And even if it's password hub in the web interface, we support just a few sessions, but it does support anything that RDM has in this nice remote desktop manager
application. Yeah, absolutely. So I like that because France does this all the time with the showcase. I really like to see the interface, and I think it's really, really cool. But like, she did give a really nice segue, and Max is back. Actually, Max was there the whole time, but he just hit his camera so we could go full screen. But Max, I'm going to have a couple questions for you that are coming up in the chat in a second here. So I'm going to let you talk about a little bit about the second aspect, which I think really brings is the icing on the cake, really, for why this is such a powerful tool for IT pros. So can you talk about the integration and give a little bit of a showcase, I say, for how this works for the guy who says, okay, I'm familiar with password managers. I know kind of what you've just showed me, but what does it have to do with me? So take it away, Max. You've got this.
Yeah, I'm going to try. Actually, first thing, I'm going to share my screen before I forget. There we go. And I'm going to move this away once again. You guys actually, I don't know if you guys are using RDM or not on the call, but you guys probably know RDM more than me. But anyway, a business, actually integrate, even non-personal actually does, integrate with RDM as a data source, meaning that, as you know, you have this panel to manage your data source. I'm not going to add one, but it's here to add one. But I'm just going to exit because that's the one I want. You just fill the name you want for your data source. You had your username, which in this case, I'm going to be called Phil. And you can click on this button to go fetch your vaults, your hub actually, and then it will fill the field here. Once that is done, you're pretty much ready to go. Right now, as you can see, my data source is open. I'm currently connected to Windjammer, which is our demo. I have access to my entries like as if it was a DPS, SQL server, or even a local data source. Everything here is available for me. I can open a session, which is really what RDM is good for. Let's assume I'm doing some work here. So the good thing about this is, like I said before, Password Hub is available also for business users. So whenever you receive a call from someone, I don't know, in accounting, that's saying, hey, I don't have access to, I don't know, QuickBooks, you can just check that up and say, okay, fine, you don't have access to QuickBooks, so I'm going to create your QuickBook access. QuickBooks. I'm going to assume that that's the link for QuickBooks. There we go. Don't do this at home. I'm just going to put user then pass.
Nice.
And this is one of the features of actually Hub and RDM. It's going to tell you, you sure you want to do this? This password does not comply with your security settings. I'm going to say yes because it's just a demo, but you shouldn't do that. So I just created an entry in the accounting vault. So if I go on the web, in the accounting vault, I can refresh the entries. I can look into the same folder, and there we go. We have QuickBooks. It's available. So whoever called you, I believe this case it could be Kelly. You can see that she will be able to use this entry now with DWL, Devolution Web Login, or even a mobile account, whatever she's using. You can see it was created by me a few seconds ago via RDM.
Wow.
So you're Phil, eh? That's it, huh?
Yeah, right now I'm Phil. Yeah,
okay.
So that's how it integrates. And for you guys, like I said, I'm assuming I was doing some job here. Even if I'm not in the same vault, I can still check what's happening on the server, wherever I'm connected to. So this is really nice, and I can come back after doing my job and keep doing whatever I'm doing. So this is RDM. I'm not going to go too deep into RDM because, like I said, probably most of you actually know it more than I do. But one of the things that we recently added, and it's really something that has been asked before, and it's the offline mode. As you can see here, I can go offline. And this starts by going, first of all, into administration, and then going to users, finding your user that you want to give access to offline. You can exit it, and we have now a checkbox here that says allow offline. By default, it's not checked, so you have to check that. Once you check that, you can update. And we do have a known issue right now. If RDM is already open and you're already connected into that data source with that user, the permissions or the user settings that you change will not take effect. Just restart RDM, please. It should fix it until we actually fix the real issue, which we are saving. We're caching users a little bit too strongly in RDM. So once that is done, you should be able to go offline, and everything that you had will be accessible. You won't, currently it's a read-only offline, so you won't be able to make some changes. For example, the same entry that I open, I can still open if you don't have access to internet, but I cannot change properties, I cannot exit, I cannot add, etc. It's a read-only for now. I say for now because we're gonna move to write offline writable in the next version, which I'm gonna talk later on. So this is offline. Say you had RDM close and you just come to your data center or wherever you are that you have no access to zero internet. Even if Hub is a cloud, you can access your data source offline. It's going to ask you your Devolution account password, and now you may say, oh wait, this is going to require me to log in via Devolution account. Actually, no. What we did is we took the logic that's been done on your login on login.devolution.com and we added it to RDM locally. So the whole encryption is all done locally on your machine. So right now I'm gonna fetch my password because I'm not used to this password. Hang on, I have this little screen in my. There we go. I can open and everything is done locally, and my data source will be loaded in read-only. I have access to my user vault. I can view password if I need to be able to do my stuff. I can go back and check other whatever I need. And if you have access, you can also launch a session. All this while being offline. Of course, if you don't require internet access to reach this session server.
Yeah, really, really cool, man.
So that's the new offline. Like I said, we're going to implement the writable offline in the next version, most likely. Next, I wanted to show the reports that France talked like not long ago. These are two new reports that we had at the last release. Both reports are really interesting. The first one, I believe, is really useful when you have a good password hygiene. For example, if I go in this vault, which is not really good password hygiene, but you have the list of entries pretty much. And from there, we tell you, okay, when is the last time it was modified? How many times does this entry has a password that's been reused somewhere else? Is it a strong password? Is it a weak password, etc.? So this is really nice. It's really useful. Like I said, when you have a strong hygiene, you just find the one that's red or the one that's orange and you fix it. But I believe there's one issue here. It's like you can see is you have 30 reusable passwords. You're going to have to find every one of them. And as you fix them, the count should be going down. It's a little bit hard to manage. And that's why we created the other one, which we call Password Analyzer. And this one is the other way around. Instead of showing you entries first, we show you the password first. So if I go in the same vault, you can actually see the password. Oh, this password is being actually reused 30 times. That's unacceptable. And then you can expand this and you can see all the entries, the 30 entries that are actually reusing this password in the path. And you may realize, oh, well, it's unacceptable, but actually it's all the same system. For some reason, we just copy and paste the password. So that's really nice. And furthermore, we added a check here whether your password has been breached or not with have I been found. That way you can know if your password is breached and has been exposed, actually.
Wow,
So
that's
this is
really
a
cool.
really nice password analyzer. Same here. You can see the password, which is actually the worst password ever, almost. Um, so you can see the entries linked to this password. It's completely different type of representation, but I believe this representation is really good whenever you have a password such as this and you want to change in the whole vault at the same time. You can just click here to go to the entry and fix your password and come back and fix them all actually.
Just to add to this,
Yeah.
this is one of the report that I call innovative, because in Password Hub, the team is trying, since it's a new product, it's pretty young. We're trying to implement a lot of innovative tools.
Yeah.
As the ones that knows about the Remote Desktop Manager or other products, the Password Analyzer actually is the same format of the entry, what we call the entry security, because the password analyzer is giving you the list of entries. So now we're making a difference here in Password Hub. So for those who know, the password analyzer in the Remote Desktop Manager or on Devolution server is actually the entry analyzer. But I think this is a first step there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the other product have the same report pretty soon there.
Yep.
Good,
Great.
thank you, Franz. One last thing I wanted to show is actually some of you have been asking for a PowerShell module. We worked on it. It's actually currently available. We have some gotchas with it, but we should be releasing a version today or tomorrow. But as Franz mentioned, we do have application users. Pretty much it's what I call bots or things that you want to script. For example, here I created application user called account creation script, and the goal was pretty much to just be able to create accounts with this script. Creating is really simple. You have the name you want to give it to him, to the application user. You check if you want it enabled or disabled. You can assign it to groups if you want, and then you keep going. I'm gonna do it just guess. I'm sorry, France, if I'm messing up your demo environment.
The showcase, it'll have to be redone
Yeah.
after. No, it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So this will give you access to a secret and a key. This application user will not be linked to a Devolution account. It's really for scripting purposes. So you can download this, save it, and copy paste it, actually create an entry if you want. Maybe we should have an option for that. And then after you're done with this, you can launch your PowerShell. I'm going to skip the part where you install the module. It's available, like I said, on PS Gallery. It's available here. We currently have 3 versions, and the next one is coming really soon. The installation should be pretty much simple. It's PowerShell 7, so keep that in mind if you have 5 or less. Next, you can open your PowerShell, and to connect, we have a couple of commands according to this one. You enter your URL for your Password Hub, the application secret that was just provided to you, the application key that was provided to you, and you hit enter. It should do the job. After that, you can double check if my memory is right. Nope, I'm not going to use my memory. I was close enough. You can double check that you're really connected with this, but here you can see that account creation script is currently logged in with this hub, and this is the application key. Now, what can we do with this? You can pretty much fit the information on hub. I'm not a PowerShell guru, far from it, as you just saw. Here, I just fetch all the vaults that this application creation script has access to, and you can inspect this object as if it was any other PowerShell object. You can also say, for example, you wanted to have a single vault because for some reason you wanted to explore this vault. Nope, that's for later. You can have this, and you can go into the permissions and nest it. If you wanted to fetch entries, all the entries of a given vault, you call the GitHub entry with the vault ID, and it's going to save it in a variable because I want to avoid showing all that to you. It's going to take a couple seconds. Corp entries, I'm going to show to you. Pretty much the entries are what we call audit, which is created by, modified by, created on, modified on, etc. And the connection is really what the object that we save. You can explore those. And if you want, you can also, that's like more advanced for me, but it's probably beginner for you guys. you can convert using PowerShell to JSON or whatever you want and save it into a file, such as what I'm doing here. I'm going to open with Notepad. There we go. And it opened in the background. And you can have your entry transform into JSON. This is the audit, and this is the connection. That's what I meant. That's pretty much it for PowerShell. We currently have some doc internally that we want to make public available with the list of commands and what's possible. But pretty much any management task is available. That's the goal. You can connect, you can disconnect, you can get your hub context if you have multiple hubs or whatever. You can also have manage your system settings. You can get the system setting, make a verification if you have some audit to do. You can add system permission, remove permissions, etc. Same thing with Vault. You can do your management there. Users, management again, groups, entries. We currently have an issue with setting an entry, but we're going to release that today. So that's pretty much it for the PowerShell. We also have a PowerShell module for secret management. This will be released if it's not already released soon, but it will allow you to have to use actually Hub and PowerShell as a Hub data source for PowerShell, so that you can provide secrets without having them hard coded into your PowerShell module.
Wow. That's really cool. I think especially for that really speaks to the heart of IT pros, because they like to do scripting.
Yeah,
and
so
PowerShell.
if ever you have very technical questions,
Yeah.
stay tuned and ask them to Max.
yeah, because Max is gonna cover those. So we have about 5 minutes left, and which is perfectly fine. So what we're gonna do is France is gonna share a couple more things, and we'll talk a little bit about the roadmap, about what's coming down the line. You already mentioned a few things about things coming out today and in the next couple of days as well. But I know there was a couple questions that people asked, and Max, you might be able to answer this. If not, we'll delegate it to somebody else. But okay, so Scott Bowling mentioned, he said, when I was migrating from LastPass, the lack of Safari web browser plugin was an issue. So therefore, he decided to go to Bitwarden. But do we have any plans for that, or any issues with? Safari is always a different thing, but how does that work?
That's a really good question, actually, Yann. I'm going to have to delay this to someone called Ali at the company.
Okay.
I do not have that information right now. I'm not sure what's the status on that.
Okay, perfect. But Scott, we'll make sure we keep track of that question. Good. That's actually really interesting.
Actually, there's a lot of questions sometimes with the web browser plugin or web browser extension. So for sure, in the sessions after this, go ahead, and if somebody could invite Olivier there to be ready for us in the support session, I'm sure he's going to be available to answer those questions.
Sure. Daniel asked a great question. Can you speak to these certifications held for business versus personal, and any third party or external security auditing and so forth for Password Hub? So I know Password Hub, we got the ISO certification, right? And then, SOC 2. SOC 2, sorry.
SOC 2.
Yeah, SOC 2. But is there any differences between the products on how the certifications that they both hold, or are they applicable for both?
As far as I know, a personal and a business are both SOC 2 Type 2 compliant.
Okay.
Now, I'm pretty sure a personal is, for sure a business is, but we're in the same environment. We have, I believe, no reason why it wouldn't be SOC 2.
Absolutely. Okay, good. Because I know there's some questions on that. Now, if you guys have more questions, like I said, we only have 3 minutes left, but we'll go right after that, go into the hub session, then they'll be able to do some more technical things. All right. So do you want to talk a little bit about some of the things you wanted to share at the end as well?
Well, I'm sure that people want to know, how do I start this?
How easy is it to do this?
What's the next step? Well, the next step is really to go to the website. So here it's quite easy, and in the product of the Password Hub, this is really the best way to go, and you can start a trial, because automatically, regardless if you want it right away or you want to try, you start a trial. You have 30 days there free, no engagement or nothing. And we do give the possibility here to create your own Devolution account, or the Devolution account that will be owner of this Password Hub. Quite easy. So create your account. We have a quickie thing just to create very easily your Devolution account. And if you do already have one and you want to create your password hub with that account, well, you just need to log in, and it's going to bring you to the your account, but in the customer portal of your Devolution account. So you will see a lot of different things there regarding all the different products of a Devolution account, but the most important one today is the business hub business section, which it gives you a little bit of what it is, and all you have to do is really here create your password hub, giving the company name. It's always nice to know which company you're working in. And after that, the password hub website is really the address that will correspond to the hub that you're gonna create. So very, very easy. And you could choose your area or your region where your data will be hosted, because it's a cloud base. We're with Azure, and we offer 3 regions. So depending of what is your requirement, and from there you just agree and start trial, and all the thing is going in the background, creating all that stuff, and it's like magic.
Like magic, yeah.
And magic-wise, at one point you will receive this nice email. Welcome you to Password Hub Business that corresponds to your URL, and so you all have to do is connect to it, and for sure you start with Password Hub empty. That's for sure. So let me just show you what it's going to look like. So I'm just gonna go in fast here. Oh. That's what happened when you want to go fast, huh? Well, it doesn't work. So let's go. So it will go directly to your password hub.
Sure.
It's empty. Actually, when you log in for the first time, it's gonna ask you to download your emergency kit, which is very important, because as a one user, because in the password hub will be just one user, one admin. If ever you lose your Devolution account password, that's the only way to come back. It's with this emergency code to access again. That's why we recommend, when you start, what we recommend, at least invite one other user that would be a second admin, because when a user do the forget password, it cuts the link with Password Hub, so you could re-invite those users. So that's quite easy to do, and at that point, you from there, well, you go in and fill in your vault, create your vault, assign manager to your vault like I recommended. You could also use the Devolution Hub importer, which is a tool that could allow you to import whatever you have right now. We did do a few files, that predefined files that exist there as a third party. That's right. And also our own RDM file. And if whatever you have does not correspond there to those files to import in a specific vault, the best way is to use RDM. In RDM, there's a lot more files that you could import in your vault. So as you saw there with Max, having RDM with the data source password hub, you have everything there. So every tool that exists in the remote desktop manager already exists also with Password Hub. So you could import a lot of different format of file. So even if it's a one-shot to use a remote desktop manager, why not? Just to import, but at least it's done and you don't have to do this one by one. So that's an easy way to really fill in all your vaults there.
Yeah, to speak on that, actually, this is actually quite interesting, because we talked about dog fooding. A lot of us and a lot of you were actually using, are still using remote desktop manager, the RDMO, or online database. Remember we had that for life?
Yes.
And I remember that was a shift for me, because I was like, wait a second, I have all my passwords in RDMO, or whatever. And
online,
then, but what was nice is, I did an RDM. I just connected to my thing, exported, imported, and it was flawless. It was really, really smooth.
Yeah, it's same,
So then I closed my accounts by RDMO, an online
That's
database. And but the idea is this is a great replacement for that. So if some of you are saying, wait a second, we're still using that feature, this would be a great option for you to kind of get into the 21st century of the web browser too, because that's what I wanted to
yeah,
get
because
something
online database and the other one, there's two cloud database that we offer long time
back
ago.
in the day, yeah.
That was a cloud-based data source for individual and team with RDM. So there's a lot of people are using still using that. So this is a shift. Actually, what you say, Yann, there's coming with a data source, a cloud-based, same thing, but much more secure, certified, flexible for the entire organization, and probably we're gonna invite a lot of those online database user to kind of
to migrate and come on over.
and
join the club,
join Password Hub, because that's the future.
Yeah, and I know originally we understand the pain point as well, because when something gets released, a new product, it's always kind of like, do I migrate all my data here or not? Because and that was issues where people were like, they're not ready, but it's really, really maturing. And I know Max's team they're on fire with this stuff, and it's really going really quickly. So, and we're always open to suggestions. So I think now is a good time.
I even heard.
You heard?
Okay?
Okay.
I heard in the.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. That we may have a tool.
Okay.
That will migrate very easily.
Okay.
Online database to Password Hub.
Okay.
Just saying.
But
just
we want
like
that. It's a good thing our boss said David Hervieux is not listening right now. So no, actually he's in the chat answering all your technical questions. And by the way, thanks to Marc Beauséjour and Marc-André Moreau and the team there as well, because they're answering in the stage chat right now. There's a bunch of technical things that they're taking care of there.
And we'll too.
Yeah, exactly. And then right after this, so we're over time, but there's still 92 of you listening. So thank you so much. But a quick question: was there anything we want to talk about the roadmap a little bit? Just a few little things that are coming down the line, things that were released, or is there anything else that you wanted to cover?
No, I think what we saw demonstrate today is already in there. But maybe Max want to give other hints. What he's coming.
Give us some teasers.
Some little
Easter
teasers
eggs
for maybe this fall.
Yeah.
One of the big things we're working on right now is permissions on entries. I don't know if you guys have been using Password Hub for a while, but originally we didn't have folders. Then we added folders with the latest release, and now we're adding permissions on entries, meaning that within the vault, you will be able to say, okay, for this folder, I want this user or this group to be able to add entries or edit entries, which you may not be able to do at the vault level. This sounds simple, but it's actually fairly complex for some security impacts and permission design. So we're working on that for the next release. It's really our big effort. We're also, like I said previously, working on the writable offline mode in RDM, so that you guys can do some change offline, and once you go back online, push all those changes online. Like I also mentioned, we have the PowerShell credential module for the secret management that's going to be released pretty soon if it's not already done. We have some minor vault selectors improvements that we want to do. We have a security dashboards. Because we're trying to align ourselves a little bit more with RDM, we're going to support favorites, shortcuts in the web client. We also have something that's been asked a lot, and it's with the Devolution account team. We're going to try to we're going to support Azure AD SCIM, so that
that's a big thing.
That's a pretty big thing too. So that you can import your organization into Password Hub. And finally, we will improve eventually the owner support on Password Hub, where you can set who's the owner of the Password Hub. It's currently a little bit confusing and messy, so we're going to work on that too.
Man, very cool. Lots of stuff down the pipe coming. So when are the major, just so that people know the major release dates? Because we have like times of the year that we normally release. So
the last one was like recently. The next one is probably after summer, somewhere along October.
Yeah, exactly. We have the fall. I know in the last thing, A lot of people are excited about DVLS and Devolution Server, the lot of updates coming there. So all of our products are going to get some really good things down the line. So some are the little elves in the workshop are going to doing a lot of work, but we're going to be doing a lot. So
one thing, just to maybe for those who already use Password Hub, what a new thing that we did implement last month is the yearly billing, which was a big work that we did actually. Because before it was a subscription monthly charge on a credit card, now we are offering licenses. Like all the other products, so a yearly or 3 years license. So that's available now. So the ones that are monthly billing right now, you could kind of convert and buy a yearly license, and at least you're okay for a year or 2 years or 3 years there.
That's good news.
That's a very big improvement that we did.
Okay, so we're done. Man, this time flies when you're having fun. I know that's cliche, but
that was great.
It really good. So
thank you.
We're gonna be great, and we went 13 minutes over time. It's my fault. And also, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Anyway, you can join us there. But you share that video for people that might be interested in your team as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sign out here, and then we're gonna switch over to the camera in the session. So we'll be back in just 1 minute. But thank you, Max, for joining us. I'll probably see you in a minute anyway, but thank you folks for watching, for those who have to get back to work and do different things. But just have a great day, and we really appreciate you joining us for today for this Hub webinar. Okay, until next time, we'll see you. Bye.
Thanks.